Howdy booktube, Nikki here. I believe I have outdone myself today. This is probably the latest I've ever been at filming a wrap-up. Though in my defense, I was sick and then I went to Sydney and then I came back and then I was sick because I travelled when I was sick. The point is, this video is super late. My bad. Sorry about it. So let's get on with it. Here are the books that I read in June. I'm gonna do the cool thing that I did last month where I go from the lowest rated to the highest rated book so that together we can create a sense of suspense, cinematic urgency, driving us toward the end of the video when you can stop listening to me and go do something else. Now, I did have a couple of 3-star reads this month and they were surprising. Like, both of them I thought that I would enjoy more. Neither of them did I hate though, and I think other people may enjoy them more than I did just because of the sort of reader I am. And the first of those is Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. The hype for this book and this movie was real. Still a bit real. Less real now because people have kind of seen the movie. It's dying down a little bit. So I probably don't need to tell you what it's about. I have really complex feelings about this book that I'd like to share in a video of its own because a lot of them are quite spoilery. But I enjoyed Lou. I liked her character. She was very quirky and different. But I did have this sort of uneasiness that settled over me sort of partway in the book. One of the main reasons I picked this up is I am interested in the depiction in the stories of people with chronic disability and chronic illness and that sort of thing. And so I feel like this didn't really live up to my expectations in that sense. But it was interesting and I did enjoy reading it, apart from the uneasiness that I had about some things. So I gave it a 3 stars. I'd heard really positive things about this book and the entire trilogy, and that is The Winner's Curse by Marie Rutkowski. This book has a really interesting political landscape. We have one group of people who've taken over the land of another group of people and we're now living as slaves, and so we get two cultures smushed on top of each other. Like two beautiful different things put together. Chocolate, peanut butter in a milkshake. Ah, now I'm really thirsty. We follow the character of Kestrel, who's the general's daughter of the, winning side, and she accidentally kind of, buys a slave one day named Aaron, and then a whole bunch of different political things are going on and there's lots of happenings, and we see both sides dealing with the happenings. I really expected to love this, and I totally understand how this could be a 5-star book for somebody, but unfortunately it wasn't a 5-star book for me, purely because I just couldn't connect to the characters. There's a game in the book that they play that's similar to poker, and so they have to like keep their cards close to the chest or whatever, but at the same time the characters are also keeping their cards from me, and I'm the sort of person, I love character driven anything, so I'm just here like, yo, tell me, what are your feels? What's the sitch? How are you? Tell me, how does that make you feel? So I couldn't really ever connect to the characters, and I didn't get that sense of empathy that I needed to really enjoy the story as much as someone who would love this book because they're totally into hidden agendas and political intrigue and stuff like that. So overall I gave it 3 stars. It sounds like something that would interest you and you like political intrigue, check it out. But if you're more of a character driven person, maybe proceed with caution. It smells really nice. Next we have Talons of Pangaea, issue 1. This is by Nikita Kostachuk and Napoleon Franks. Should really know how to pronounce these people's names, seeing as how I've known Nikita for ages and I met Napoleon when I bought this book. This is a webcomic that you can read for free. I will put the link below. You should check it out. And I really enjoyed it. This is sort of fantasy collides with science fiction, collides with the harpies. I don't know, it's really cool. So within Pangaea there's a place called Rachton. I don't really know how to pronounce anything in any fantasy thing ever, my bad. And Felheim, and those two don't like each other, but they have like a treaty going on. And then there's these harpies that don't like anybody. And Tash here is born of a harpy, but she doesn't really look like a full harpy. She looks like a little bit human, and so she has really got no place. She befriends Blake, who's a young inventor, and the adventure begins sort of there. I won't go into it too much. I really enjoyed this. The art style reminds me of Disney's Gargoyles, if anyone remembers that show. It was amazing. This is very reminiscent of that. The characters are super expressive and it's gonna pop off the screen in front of your face if you follow that link below to see the webcomic. Overall I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Super enjoyed it. Can't wait to catch up with the webcomic. Totally recommend it. Next we have my TBR jar pick of the month, I think. I picked comic books from both my comic book jar and my normal jar, so I can't remember which is which. But one of them was Radioactive SpiderGwen Volume 1 by Jason Latour and Robbie Rodriguez. There was a Volume 0. There was a Volume 0 and it was a little bit confusing. Like, I enjoyed it, but I was a little bit confused. I feel like I'd missed something. Maybe there was some backstory that I had to read. About halfway through this one, all of that was squashed to a giant ball Oh, there's a cat outside. There's a really big cat. Whose cat is that? I can see its shadow, but I can't see the cat. This is set in Earth 65, an alternate Earth, where Gwen Stacy is the one that got bitten by the spider and Peter Parker passed away tragically. So it features a lot of characters that you may have seen in other comic books like Matt Murdock. This one actually crosses over with Earth 616, which is the sort of regular Earth. So we see Spider-Woman, who's currently very, very pregnant, and I really want to read some Spider-Woman now because she seems really cool. This was a 4 stars, but I'm totally ready for the next issue to be 5 stars. This is a great launch pad off which we can fly together into the sunset of greatness. I don't even know where that sentence was going when I started it. So there's a couple of different art styles in this one, but I feel like the color scheme of this crazy like pink and green totally makes it readable no matter what they do with the art. As long as they keep this awesome color scheme, I will continue reading it and loving it because it's great. My other TBR pick was All New, All Different Avengers by Mark Waid and a couple of other people. This one is called The Magnificent Seven, and The Magnificent Seven indeed. I wasn't sure about where I was going to come in with this one because it's post the whole Secret Wars Marvel collapsing in on itself, all the different universes. As long as you're familiar with the general idea of the Avengers, you can pick this up and you're sweet. We've got a new Captain America, Sam Wilson. Tony Stark is gone broke, and the Avengers have broken up for whatever reason. So when there's a new villain threatening the world, we have some new heroes coming together to punch it in the face collectively. Now the plot in this one isn't really anything to write home about, but it does introduce an interesting villain, and we're introduced to this awesome set of heroes, and I feel like they have really good chemistry together. I totally ship Nova and Ms. Marvel. That has to happen. Make it so. This probably is the series best suited towards people that haven't been reading the comics as long. Maybe you've read some Ms. Marvel or Miles Morales or Nova, but longtime fans of like Vision and Tony Stark and stuff and the Avengers, probably this is going to be something a little bit different. It definitely has a younger feel about it. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I'm totally looking forward to the next volume, keeping up with this series. Can't wait. Before I get to my last 2 books, which are both brilliant and amazing, here are the 6 Animorphs books that I read last month. These are all rated 3 or 4 stars. I'm still way behind on this series. And finally, we have the Dream Thieves and Blue Lily Lily Blue by Maggie Stiefvater. These are the 2nd and 3rd books in the Raven cycle, and I am totally loving this series. I'm currently on the last book. I had to pause it to do the booktubeathon. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. I mean, honestly. I really love the Dream Thieves. I feel like it gave me so much of what I wanted after I read the first book. Like I wanted to see more of Blue with individual characters and more of Blue's family, and we got to see that. Got to see the characters apart from each other. Like the characters are just off the charts, deep and realistic and wonderful. So I gave this one a 4.5. It kind of felt like for a lot of the book we weren't really actually going anywhere with the major plot, but then it all kind of tied together anyway, so it was all really worth it. Then we had Blue Lily Lily Blue, which was amazing, and I couldn't fault at all, so I gave it 5 stars. It's absolutely amazing. I really love this series. So these are all the books that I read. This tub one smells a little bit funky. Oh wow, it's really close to my face. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of those books. If you've read the Raven cycle, which is your favorite Raven boy? I feel like every time I think I have a favorite, someone does something amazing and I'm like, oh, alright, he did a cool thing. I'm gonna go keep reading because it's currently booktubeathon as I'm filming this and I need to catch up. But I will see you next time. In the meantime, click on my cat to see my last video. This is Furby, by the way. We named her Furby because she looks like a Furby toy. She's very sleepy. I woke her up from a nap. The other cat is very confused. Click on me. Click on me. Wave bye-bye.